Guys, before we start this video, please appreciate that I'm being open and transparent with you guys as viewers. Please don't jump to conclusions. Please don't insult my intelligence by thinking that I'm too dumb for a university degree. Please think before you comment something ridiculous. I do read basically every comment ever on my YouTube channels. I'm a very observant person. Just pay me the respect that I'm paying you guys by being this transparent with something that is a large decision in my life. Thank you. Enjoy the video. Hey, do you know what time it is? It's White Boy Summer.
White Boy Summer!
If I don't get 100K by the end of the year, bitch, I'm gonna kill myself. Alright, welcome people. I've been putting off shooting this video for a while, but this is my dropping out story time. I'm a bit unsure how to go about this because I don't want to miss anything, so I've been overthinking how I'm gonna deliver this. But basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you through a summary of my uni journey up until now, present time, and then I'm gonna talk about my parents' reaction, the actual decision to finally drop out, my plan going forward. Yeah, full transparency, I wrote out 3 pages of notes. Like I said, I don't want to miss anything, and the journey is very important to explain the decision. But yeah, let's get it, I guess. So, where did it all start? Pre-university was in England. I did my last year of high school in England. I finished something called the IB diploma, which is International Baccalaureate. It's not IEB, for those of you who think that they just misheard me. I got a 34. So I scored a 34 for my IB diploma. For those of you who don't know, IB is out of 45, basically. So I'd probably say 30 to 34 is average. 34 to 37 is good. 38 to 41 is probably oh, that's very good. And then 41 plus is crazy, right? So I got 34. It was alright. I didn't apply myself that much. All throughout high school up to that point, I was just relying on intelligence to get me over the line. I wasn't a very studious person. So from England, my family then moved to Cape Town, and I went with them. So this was in 2015 May. I initially applied to vet schools in the UK actually. I got rejected from all of them. I had no work experience. So yeah, I applied to the UK for veterinary. I had no work experience. I worked for maybe a couple months in a veterinary clinic in Lagos, just as an assistant, and I didn't even work there. I just took notes. I shadowed, job shadowing. But I was applying to I forgot exactly where because it was a while ago. But I was applying to these top level schools with the grades that weren't sufficient, and basically my application wasn't cutting it. But again, this wasn't a passion. I guess I just loved animals, so that's how I decided on my uni degree. And I feel in high school there wasn't a lot of guidance. I feel there weren't a lot of programs in place as to help you make this large decision. But at that time, just before I moved back, during this off season, because I finished school in May 2015, the guy who worked at the school that was handling our applications and stuff told me about the University of Manchester, that he could get me in for business, and it was ranked 18th in the world at the time for business. But my parents didn't have the funds to send me there. I would have paid international student rates. It would have been I don't even know how much it would have been, but plus living expenses as well. I think it was clocking in at 20 pounds. And for context, the pound is just say it was 16 to the rand at that point. UCT semesters are I don't know, 40 grand rand, and that was 20 grand pounds. And then there's still living expenses living in England. So I came back to SA with my parents. On my way back to Cape Town though, I stopped off in Lagos to go to prom with all my school friends from Lagos, and that was a movie. I'll do a story time about that another time. But yeah, that was crazy. So I finished in Lagos, moved down to Cape Town, moved into an apartment at Hout Bay. Now my parents actually found some deal on it because it was the winter months, so it was very lavish, right? I'll try and throw some snaps in if I find some, but it was crazy. And there was a restaurant there in Hout Bay called the Lookout Deck, and they had a special on half price sushi. Oh my days, man, the way I used to chop that shit. So yeah, it was just basically sushi and football. Uni registrations only were in November. I applied to one South African uni, UCT. I was just very lazy. I wasn't very proactive in my choices of education because I had always planned to go to the US. I didn't plan to study in SA, but I was okay, I'll study at UCT. So I ended up applying to UCT for business science, finance with accounting. My backup degree was a BSc biology, I think. Yeah, my parents suggested the degree. They said, oh, it's a good degree, being a CA. For those of you who don't know, it's chartered accountant. I think for a long time, I blamed my rents for me being in a degree that I don't like. But to be honest with myself, I think it's my fault because I'm my own human being. I'm 18 at the time, or 19 actually. And it was just my laziness and lack of decisiveness at the time. I think I was just happy passing off responsibility to someone else. I was okay, my parents said I must do this degree, so I'm going to go do that. And I didn't really take the time and sit back and think about what do you want to do with your life? So I was just I just followed the status quo and said, okay, I'll go to uni. I did the MBTs. I killed that shit. Section 1 and 2, the critical thinking thinking and language skills or comprehension. I don't know. I killed those. Math fucked me. But guys, let's talk business, okay? I got like 56 in math. I don't know. I'll throw my scores up. The way they asked math questions were based on like South African high school curriculums. And I came from overseas, okay? I was a foreigner and I was taken advantage of. That's what I always maintain till the day that I die. I don't want to hear it. So anyways, applied to one SA uni, got accepted by one SA uni because I'm that guy, you get me, you know, the vibes. I actually found out after a night out. I woke up in the morning at my boy's house and I checked my email, like, you got in. I was like, my reaction wasn't that crazy. I was like, shoo! I think for South Africans, it means a lot more to get into UCT because, you know, UCT is the best university on the continent. That was in November 2015. So then in December, Jan, I went back to England, Wales for a little trip just to see my people. Linked up with my ex in Israel, actually. That's another story time. That's a mad one. So yeah, I was in the Holy Lands. Doing unholy things, and then we came back in Feb to UCT. Okay, so 2016, my first year at UCT. They had two sets of orientation, one for students who live in Cape Town and one for students that are from out of Cape Town, right? So obviously, my parents were living in Cape Town. I was supposed to go to that one, but I arrived home from England and Israel late. So I ended up having to go to the orientation that was for out of Cape Town students. And guess who was in my orientation group? Some extra loud guy that I didn't even like when I first met him, Abongwe Luzuko boy. So Abo was like the second person I ever met in uni, and I wouldn't have met him on that day if I had come home on time for my orientation. That's just like a crazy thing that I think about sometimes. So I'm like, if that didn't happen, I would have never met Abo then. No Israel, no Abo, no TFG, no Chief Matt, no video you're watching right now. Anyways, let's speed the story up. 2016, we got parties, hookups, hopping into a relationship with basically the baddest shorty in the whole year. But that's a story time for another day. And I passed 7 out of 9 courses my first year, which is not bad, you know. First years always go too hard. We fail a couple, but we make it back the next year. That's generally the vibe. Oh, also 2016 first semester is a whole nother story time as well. Like, so much shit happened that year, you guys have no idea. Okay, 2017 second year. To be honest, this year is pretty much non-existent in my memory, but records say I passed 9 out of 10 courses, so I'm just assuming there was some sort of comeback academically. But to summarize, relationship with the shorty, football, standard student living. Okay, 2018, third year. This is the first time basically in my life where academically it all went to shite. My girl left me after a year and 10-month relationship, and it basically broke me, but that's a story time for another time. Also, I've done this in other story times before where I have like 5 story time for another times branching off, so you'll need to end up reminding me on IG or something or further down the line. I rolled my first car, so that was gone, totally written off. Finances were on 0. I actually ended up failing half my courses that year. So at this stage I was like 21. I was young, dumb, in love. Basically when shorty left, that like wrecked my whole world and I just lost motivation for everything. I think the problem was like I put all my eggs in one basket, and my basket was this relationship. So when the relationship failed, everything around it crumbled, you know, because I didn't really care about anything else at the time. But also keep in mind, this whole time I don't like my degree. I'm still not trying really hard, relying on my general intelligence like I did in high school. I'm scraping through the courses with like last minute study flurries, or as famous chef Gino D'Acampo likes to put it,
the way of thinking: minimum effort, maximum satisfaction.
So basically I used this breakup as an excuse to give up academically. The breakup was very emotionally taxing, but I was able to keep going with TFG, which is about the only good thing that came out of 2018. 2019, fourth year. I still get hyped thinking about this year. TFG was on fire. We started at UCT Freshers that year. We jumped from just hitting 10K on YouTube in December 2018 to like 20K in February, March 2019. I used that breakup as motivation. I was literally on fuck that bitch mode. I glowed up physically. TFG got our money right. I passed 7 out of 7 courses that year. In like November, TFG got flown up to Joburg for a brand deal, and I still flew back and passed all my courses. It was actually so mad. 2019 was, what a time. I even got offers from EY and KPMG to do articles with them after postgrad. Now, for context, for those of you who don't know the industry, when you become a CA, you finish your undergrad, however you get it, there's a couple ways. Then you can do 1 year postgrad. Then you do 3 years articles, generally at a big 4 firm, which is EY, KPMG, PwC, and Deloitte. Now, the 2 interviews, I didn't even set them up. That's how much I didn't really care about this degree. My mom literally like called, I don't know. My mom called someone, set up interviews for me. I went. Almost no preparation. I remember I actually called someone in my degree who was like very organized. And I said, yo, give me like a summary of general knowledge I should know about finance world. Like make me a cheat sheet. I went in that interview. You get me? Chief was back again. I just breezed through the interviews really. Now, I don't know how much of that was me just being a goat and how much of that was down to the interviews just being easy or like a lot of people get accepted. I don't think it's as easy as I'm making it seem. I feel like I should give myself some credit. But basically,
you haven't learned anything so far. Minimum Minimum effort, maximum satisfaction.
Oh, also, I placed my first bet ever at the end of the year, turned 10K into 22K, and paid for my own holiday to Malaysia. 2019 was just a dull. 2020, fifth year. This was supposed to be my final year. 5 years for a 4-year degree. Not bad. COVID hits. Lockdown time. Now, I don't want to blame COVID for my bad academic performance. I was uninterested already. We already know this. But yeah, the schedule changed. I hopped on my own YouTube shit. TikTok blew up a little bit. I passed 4 out of 7 courses. But again, not bad. Like, not horrible. 2021, 6th year. This year's like 2017 in my memory. I don't even know what happened this year. Oh, standout performance from the Joburg trip and a couple shorties. But academically, I passed 0 out of 3 courses. I don't even think I wrote any finals. These were the final 3 courses I have to do for my entire degree. Oh, I wrote maybe 1 or 2 finals at the end of the year, but one of them was like I low-key like gave up halfway through. I don't remember. But I was not prepared. 2022, 7th year of a 4-year degree, by the way. So this is the current year. I started off this year well mentally. I went to therapy at the end of last year to try and deal with some emotional issues. And on a side note, that didn't really help too much academically in the end, but it did help me with my emotional maturity and working through some things that I hadn't previously given attention to before and that have given me like a new perspective on things. Also, to my credit, at this point I had finessed past like 3 different readmission rule violations. I'm addicted to finessing. Now my new mentality or whatever approaching 2022, like, oh, let's get this degree over with. It lasted for a little bit and I was organized. I was watching lectures a lot for one of the courses and I was going to the tuts, but I wasn't like going to the tuts. At this level as well, keep in mind, this is the last year of courses of a business science finance degree. It's not like the easiest thing in the world, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's only so far that general intelligence can take you. After a while, like, you need to start actually, like, putting in some effort. So I wasn't doing, like, the prep that you're supposed to do before going to the tuts, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, then came test week 1, which was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in, like, the first week of April. I barely study. I hop in the whip. This is on the Tuesday. My pops is in Nigeria. I drive to campus, and on the way, I call Shiki, and then when I land there, I call Tebs and Lulu as well. I almost went to Shiki's house. I wanted to like abandon the test, go to Shiki's house, just chill. Because I didn't want to stay at home because then it's a fight with my mom, but I didn't want to go write the exam. Shiki was busy, so I go to campus and I call Tebs and I literally tell him like, bro, I don't think this is happening. And I'm sitting in my parked car on campus. The test is in like 20 minutes. And I dipped to go play football. This is actually the clip I sent to Tebs.
Priorities, boy. Priorities.
From the football pitch. And you know, like, all my friends know at this point, like, when I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Regardless, you can't talk me out of it. So I had pretty much just decided, like, I'm not writing. So a week later, I think on the Monday, Tuesday, the week after this test week that I skipped, I wake up and I make a pros cons list of dropping out of uni. And here's where we get to the why. So I have the pros and cons list with me. I'll read it out to you. Dropping out. On the pros side, I wrote, finally focus on being happy. Full space to find my passion and apply myself. Time to capitalize on YouTube, which at the moment is going quite well for me. Motivation to be great to prove myself. Sort of like having a chip on my shoulder by dropping out of uni. YouTube makes my heart move. That's in all caps. So I think pointing to something that gives me purpose and like makes me feel something, because accounting with finance does not. Take ownership of my life. This one I feel like I might need to explain to some viewers, because people might think that it's a display of irresponsibility to drop out of uni, but it's more so the fact that I'm in uni because of my lack of ability to take responsibility for my own decisions, right? Because I didn't decide to go into this degree. I was like, oh, my parents said it, fine, I'll do it. But me deciding to drop out is actually Matt making a decision for himself and his own life, even though it's a risk and even though it's a big decision. It's me taking ownership of my own existence. Higher levels of risk versus reward. Now that speaks to my personality. I've always been an all or nothing kind of person, and I didn't want to end up in a 9-to-5 deadbeat job earning a decent salary, just enough to pay my health insurance and my fucking mortgage and the school fees for any kids I might have and food. And it's like, nah. It's like, I want to go for it all. I want to be dirty rich. On the con side, there's less job security, so no backup plan. It's a waste of time and effort, because I've been doing this for 7 years. Judgment from others, yes, including some of you guys. Disappointed parents, that's never a good thing. Personal grievance, regret with being a quitter. I am not a quitter. That is not my personality. So for something like this to happen, there's a part of me that it just doesn't sit right with. Because every time I've been like, oh, I'm going to fail this test. Or not every time, but there have been a lot of times in my early university career where I was like, oh, I'm going to fail this test. And I rally at the last minute and pass. So yeah, that's where the personal grievance comes from. So anyways, after I made this list, I landed on a quote. And it is, life is too short not to chase your dreams.
Why are you...
But then I later changed that to, life is too short not to be happy. And to finally answer the question of this video, why I'm dropping out of uni is because it does not make me happy. The thought of doing post-grad articles, to which I got accepted, becoming a CA, working a 9 to 5, sitting in traffic for an hour to 2 hours a day, taking orders from people. I don't do well with authority figures. None of that seems appealing to me. And I always come back to the thought of the fact that I'm going to be in the ground in 70 years. Right? I sort of addressed my religious beliefs on this channel before. I am not sure of a life after this one. I'm not sure if that exists. I have doubts. But one thing I am sure of is that you have one life on planet Earth. You have one life on planet Earth. In 70 years, you're in the ground. Am I going to play it safe and stay in a degree that doesn't make me happy just so that other people will think that I'm successful because I did what everyone else does? And don't mistake me for one of those hippie gents that is like, no one needs university. If you want to be an engineer, you want that shit with your heart, go do that shit. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a scientist, go do that shit. I don't care. It's your life. But I cannot justify to myself at 70 years of age, right? When my whole life has passed me by, I'm like, damn, I really did nothing with my life that made me happy. I compromised so much of my happiness so that I can, pay my mortgage. I would rather try and be happy and be successful at something that makes me happy than be miserable day in and day out just to make an okay living. And also keep in mind, CAs sit on boards and they earn bare money, but the best CAs end up in those positions more often than not. I was not going to be the best CA because I don't like it. If you don't like it, I wasn't going to be able to push through day in, day out to be good at my job if I don't enjoy what I'm doing. That's not me. Okay, that was quite passionate. Okay, what now? Let's wrap this video up. Okay, so the plan moving forward. The plan right now, so let's get something straight again. This is not a decision where I knew YouTube was going to pay off and I was like, bet that over uni. I just knew that uni, corporate life, working for someone else wasn't going to work. But now in my life, if not uni, the most obvious next choice is YouTube. It's making me money. I'm good at it. It's seen some sort of success. I like doing it some of the time. And there's an opportunity for growth and monetization of my audience via other business ventures. I think I'm also going to inquire with the university about getting some Mickey Mouse degree. Apparently there's some basic commerce degree that I'm one course off of, and then apparently it's an easy course as well. It's not like accounting, governance, or tax. It's like a small boy course. I can just do that in my spare time just to get a piece of paper. So we'll see where that goes. But that degree is shite anyway, so I don't know. I just want to, just for the purpose of completion, I wrote a note here off the Y arrow that says, oh, also fuck taking, and it's like GAGS. Oh, also fuck taking gags. So I don't know what that means. But anyways, and my parents' reaction, I am an only child. I am my parents' world. They love me dearly. They were supportive but disappointed. They're kind of coming around now, I think, because they see my perspective about chasing my passions. But obviously they wanted me to have a degree, and obviously people my age or around my age will understand how much importance parents place on having a degree, because that's how they grew up. That's what they saw as the be-all and end-all. But yeah, it's just up to me now, I guess, and up to life, because there's a lot of things I can't control, to prove everybody wrong and become a success and take care of my parents. Because I'm not gonna lie, this is all gonna be worth it if it pays off. If I get to a point one day where I grind my way to the financial top and I get to take my parents into early retirement and I get to buy whatever I want and achieve whatever I want financially, then fuck yes. But if I don't, at least I tried. I only have one shot at this thing called life, and I'm not going to waste it driving to an office job where I have to deliver paperwork by 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and they pay me scraps for overtime, and I got some bitch boss man in my face telling me about how my work isn't up to scratch. Maybe I'll box you out one time, my friend. Anyways, that's where we are right now. As you can see, the light is going, and I have football in 33 minutes. But yeah, I will be successful at all costs. Chief Matt is an all or nothing guy, and right now, I'm all. And at uni, I was nothing. And I'm nothing without giving my all. That is all. Boris? Alright, I'll catch you on the next one, my people. See you Sunday.